Hiya, it's me again doing my weekly blog that nobody actually watches, but I enjoy doing this and this is fun for me. So this week I'm going to do a book review on something that I've read, which is here, Treasure Island by Robert Louis Stevenson, and another book that he read. Kind of has a glass elevator thing going on, like Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, but we'll get to that later. So I've always wanted to read Treasure Island, and in my one of my trawlings through an op shop, I found it, and I really enjoyed reading this. It's yes, it's funny old England writing, and I do appreciate the garbage truck outside, but I have managed to shut the door so we won't hear the dogs barking and pulled across so we don't have the piercing light coming through the window this week. So sorry. And because unfortunately I don't have all the tricky dicky cameras and things to do this, I'm just doing it through the little camera right there in my computer and live streaming this. So I do apologize for the shit um, quality. That's that's what being a peasant is. So anyway, on with the book review. I really enjoyed this. It's written in merry old England speak, but it's really easy to read and it really is a classic. I love the characters, the tension and the plot building was wonderful. I really loved the storyline. It was well written. It was well thought out. Some of it was quite graphic, which never goes astray, really, for a bit of bloodlust. But it concluded satisfactorily with telling what happened to the characters and where they all ended up. So you actually had that closure with what you started with, and then it went through and it finished. So it's a complete book. You're not left with any questions. So this was it was a really I really loved it. And then I gave it to Dave to read, and I said, look, you really need to read this because this is really quite good. And while he was a little bit hesitant at first, once he got into it, he said the same as me. And he loves completely different genre books to me. Like I like English lit and all that old classic George Orwell and W.C. Fields and all that sort of stuff. But Dave is into the sci-fi and fantasy and a bit of true crime and things like that. So we are miles apart on the old reading spectrum there. But he said that he liked it for all the same reasons. So this is a good one, adult or child alike. It's a really good, safe read if you just want something to read while you're waiting for a train, or if you're on a train for that matter. It's good. His second book, Kidnapped, not so much. Not so much. No. It had, uh, you know, it really did have a lot of similarities with Charlie and the Chocolate Factory and then the Great Glass Elevator. Lot of similarities there. First one, fresh off the mark, straight out of the blocks, hit the ground running, all of those terrible cliches. And it was really good. Shouldn't have. No, no. Second one, no, no. I went into that quite excited because I love Treasure Island so much, and I was quite excited. Apparently, there is a third one as well. There is a third one that is a sequel to the second one. It has nothing to do with Treasure Island. Treasure Island is a standalone book. You just read that and walk away. But apparently, Kidnapped does have a sequel, and holy smoke, just could not be having that. No, no, just could not. I pulled up and getting through Kidnapped was a struggle. Like a truly, deeply at high school trying to read those awful, books that you are given to read in high school as part of the curriculum kind of struggle. And while the storyline was quite plausible, I did find that the Cliff Notes version that you get on the back cover, you don't need to read the book. You just read that. That gives you the best parts, and you move on. It's like one of those movies when you go and you see the up and coming attractions feature bit at the cinema, and you think, oh my god, that looks amazing. And then you go watch the movie, and the bits that they show in the trailer are the only good bits in the movie. But you have to sit there and watch the whole thing just to make sure it's rubbish right to the end. This is that book. It started quite strongly by giving you a character background of how the chap found himself to be in the position that he was in, and the crazy uncle, and how he came to be kidnapped by whom, and what happened after that. And that first part of the book is quite good because it's quite exciting. The uncle is crazy and tries to kill him to stop him from getting his inheritance, and then the kidnapping and blah blah blah. Very, very exciting. From then on, wow. That is yeah, wow. Because basically it's about 200 pages of tramping through the heather in the Highlands of Scotland. So they're tramping through the heather in the rain and being chased by soldiers and whoever knows else. You just lose track after a while, because you get through the first bit of tramping in the heather in the Highlands of Scotland, and you think, great, that was great. But the only problem is that that's all you get for the next 20 chapters, is more tramping through the heather, and yet more rain and more tramping. They throw in an occasional lock in there just to peel up the excitement, but basically you get the to the end of the kidnapping and where he's on the boat and blah blah blah, and you get to the first bit where shipwreck and rescue. Yeah, spoiler alert. Sorry, I'm just saving you the trouble of doing this to yourself. I really am. I've taken one for the team. You can thank me later. Yeah, and then read the next chapter after that, and then skip to the last chapter and save yourself the just mind-numbing boredom of all the heather and the rain and the soldiers in the Highlands of Scotland. I thought that I would like this book because I've actually been everywhere that this book is based, Fort William and all these places with the lochs and the heather. But no, not even that could rescue it. So, Treasure Island, big tick, thumbs up. Do yourself a favor. Do it. Kidnapped. Not so much. To further add insult to injury, I decided after that I would go and read Swiss Family Robertson. And this one was, I had high hopes for this book because I had heard, greatness. It's all the greatness, and this was along the lines of kidnapped. Really, it's like once you got past the whole shipwrecked bit, you kind of found yourself going, well, why aren't they doing this? Why are they doing this? This makes no sense. Why are they? Oh, and now they're slaughtering helpless animals for no good reason other than they can. And that was the theme of the book. Building themselves 60 domiciles on an island, I don't know, smaller than King Island, the one above Tasmania there. So they had like 10 domiciles all over the place. It's just like, why are you wasting your efforts? You have one that keeps out the rain and the cold and keeps your animals. But then the other thing is they had a cow and a goat, and they did have 2 sheep. But how does a cow keep giving milk for years and years when there's no bull to go with it? Same as the goat. Why are they giving milk to start with when there is no calf and no kid to go with the cow and the goat? That's not the way it works. That's not the way it happens. And they just seem to have a never-ending supply of musket balls and powder and things. It's like, how much was on that boat? It only seemed like a fairly small boat. But you have been here for years now, years, not months, years. And then spoiler alert. Again, I'm saving you the trouble of doing this to yourself, so you can thank me. Hit the like button, because that's the kind of bullet that I am taking for you. I chose to die on this hill. This is the hill I chose to die on for you. Yeah, and like they'd go wandering, they'd go exploring to see what else was there to be found among the on the island. And they just find, like, they found a couple of bears, and then there were flamingos, and then koalas, and I'm like, where on earth are these people? There was what? And then the bears were just hanging out in the cave, just not doing anything, just hanging out, just chilling, not doing anything. So I horribly slaughtered the bears and skinned them, and then just mm. And then they came across some buffalo. So I'm thinking maybe that's how they got the cow to complete the milk, but they don't, you know. And so then I thought maybe that's how. But yeah, so they went, and then the buffalo got spooked and started cantering around. So they just randomly shot some buffalo as well, and left them there to rot. And I'm like, yep, this is a proper European story about what happened when they first found stuff. This is, yeah. So anyway, yeah, finished that. Did need to take a couple of days off before starting another book, because that just, I was surprised that some missionaries found the wife while they were off gallivanting around the countryside, and took them to the island where the missionaries were. And I'm surprised they didn't just get off the boat and start massacring the islanders as well. It's like, yep, let's do this. All of this, we've just killed randomly everything else. Flamingos. You know, where are they finding bears and flamingos? And they killed a shark. So a shark swam up on them and ate one of their sheep when they were taking them from the shipwreck. So they horribly slaughtered the shark as well, which I kind of understand, because you can't have a shark just eating your livestock. But but then when the shark washed up and it's dead, instead of taking as much of that, because apparently it was like a 20,000 foot long shark, they just left it there to rot on the beach. And I'm like, yeah, that's not going to smell in the middle of a tropical wherever you are. No, good plan there. Yeah, good plan. But anyway, that is the end of this story. I hope you enjoyed it. Reading on next week. I don't know what I'm doing next week, but I am sure I will have some insights, and it will be terribly interesting. And yeah, if you do happen to randomly find this, you don't have to subscribe. That would be nice. If you just hit the like button, that would be great too. All right. Thank you so much, and talk soon. Bye.